Confounding. The title of the fourth chapter of the book, The Psychology of Money. The author explains a key concept, compounding. But why does the author use the word compounding? It is because compounding looks very simple, but if you dig deep, it is very puzzling. And how this entire phenomenon works is something to understand. It's almost magical in the way small, consistent efforts lead to massive results over time. But people underestimate it because the effects are slow at first. But when they accumulate, the impact is extraordinary. At the time of writing this book, Warren Buffett's wealth was 84.5 billion, and 81.5 billion of that had come after his 65th birthday. Now, the author is not saying you should live poor and die rich, but rather explaining the concept of how compounding works. Now, the surprising point over here is Warren isn't the best investor when it comes to returns. Jim Simmons, the head of Renaissance Technologies, has compounded his money at a staggering 66% annually. Since 1988, Buffett just 22% compounding. That's one third of Simmons' returns. And yet, Simmons' net worth, as the author writes, is 21 billion, 75% less than Buffett. How is that possible? The answer is time. Warren Buffett wasn't just a good investor. He was a good investor since he was a child. He kept investing till his old age as well. His greatest skill is shut up and wait. As Charlie Munger famously said, the big money is not in the buying, not in the selling, it is in the waiting. The power of compounding works not by having the highest returns, but by getting pretty good returns for the longest period of time. Buffett started investing at 11 years old. Jim Simmons, he started much later in life, around in his 50s. Buffett's financial base was built early and his wealth exploded because he let compounding work its magic. People think compounding only works in investing, but the truth is it is working in every aspect of your life. Everywhere you want to build a career in anything, you need compounding to work in your favor. Your actions need to compound. Take the simple example of a sportsman or a businessman. The crucial part to understand is that for something to compound, you need several fruitful repetitions of that particular action. For that, you need a strong base. Otherwise, the actions can be repetitive but not fruitful. They won't be of much use without a strong foundation. To build a strong base, you either need the correct knowledge of how to build it or the correct mentor to guide you through. And most importantly, you need to have the faith in that mentor. Compounding works not just in finance but in every aspect of life, business, health, relationships, and everything. But when you consistently invest time, effort, and discipline into something, the initial phase feels slow, even frustrating. For example, in business, in the early days, your growth is slow. You are working hard but results are minimal. However, as time passes and momentum builds, the small gains start multiplying and suddenly success feels exponential. And even if you go for a health, hitting the gym for a few weeks barely shows any results. But months or years of consistency lead to incredible fitness, strength, flexibility, longevity, everything. And when it comes to your relationships, building trust and deep connections takes efforts. At first, it may seem like you're investing without any immediate returns. You give of yourself, but over time, these bonds become much stronger and more rewarding. For example, look at your childhood friends. But there is a key insight over here that people often miss. Compounding doesn't just work in a positive direction, it also works in a negative direction if you're not careful about it. The decline starts very subtle, feels harmless, even it feels enjoyable in the start, but over time the damage becomes very severe. For example, taking the same three examples, business, ignoring customer service, or innovation, most people do that. That might hurt, that might not hurt you immediately, but eventually customers leave, competitors get ahead, and the business crumbles. Then take your health. Skipping workouts or eating poorly may feel pleasurable in the moment, but over time it leads to weight gain, chronic diseases, weaker body, a lot of problems. In the same way, your relationships. Neglecting small conflicts, taking people for granted, failing to communicate might seem insignificant at first, but over time they erode trust and lead to broken relationships. The catch over here is when compounding works for you, the start is painful. Discipline, patience, hard work. But in the end, this all is rewarding, like nectar. But when compounding works against you, the start is easy. Comfort, shortcuts, neglect. But in the end, all this turns into poison. So the real question is, are you letting compounding work for you or against you? Hence, to compound, you need a goal. You need to build a strong base to reach that goal and guidance on how to reach that goal. Once you have that path in front of you, all you need is persistence, which is nothing but staying the course when the going gets tough and avoiding all of the distractions that come in your way or your goal. Every worthwhile journey is tough in the beginning, but then it turns out to be fruitful in the end. Similarly, in the journey of investing, your portfolio will be volatile in the initial years. You will always face situations where you feel like selling, but that's when you need to stay invested through and through these tough times and have that consistent fruitful reputations. Luckily, in the investing world, this now can be done through an automated system through SIPs. So take advantage of that situation. You need a goal, your financial goal. Once you have the goal, you'll know what amount you need to invest to reach it. What will enable you to stay the course from the start to the end is the correct knowledge. If you don't have the knowledge or the understanding, take professional advice from someone who does. That is your mentor in this journey. There are thousands of books on stock picking, trading strategies, economic cycles, but the most important book is never written. It would be called Shut Up and Wait. And that is just one page long, just a chart of a long-term economic growth. If you want to build wealth, you do not need the highest returns. You need good returns which last for decades. That's when compounding runs wild. So the next time you think about pulling out money from your market or chasing the next big thing, remember the real key is really simple. Shut up and wait. If you found this video useful or valuable, you can check out my previous video of this series where I summarize the third chapter of this particular book.